See you there. Just kidding. What up, hotheads? I'm Henry, and this is Blaze the Roof. This is our Thanksgiving special, hence the little get up here. Just thought I'd dress up a little bit for y'all. I'm not going to be reviewing a sauce this week due to the fact that I'm going to have an obscene amount of leftovers, so I won't be cooking for a bit. So I decided, hey, why not, give you a window into a little bit of who I am, and just see like how it was made, and just other little things to that effect, right? So I am made by Ana Maria Bustamante and some dude named Antonio Ramirez. Antonio left before I was even born, so I technically do not have a father. I mean, technically I do, but I grew up without a dad. So, what else can I say? They probably, being that my birthday is April 4th, if you do the math, they probably boned around July 4th, 1978. So there were some fireworks going on that night. So I was born and raised in El Paso, Texas. I am 40 years old, right? I often get mistaken for being younger. A lot of people think I'm 39. And then, so a little bit about El Paso, though. El Paso is called the Sun City. It might be because they average about 360 days of sunshine there. So yeah, there's always sun. So it definitely lives up to the city there, right? I am currently living in Austin, Texas, though. I've been here for about 9.5 years. All right. But I want to focus on El Paso, right? El Paso is famous for being probably one of the biggest border cities aside from San Diego, as far as the Mexican border. El Paso is about the 20th largest city in the United States. It is also the home of the beloved Chico's Tacos, right? Justin Timberlake is a fan of them. It's one of those things that either you love them or you hate them. And apparently for some people it causes gastric distress. Not me, but hey, to each their own, right? El Paso was also known back in the Wild Wild West in the 1800s, was known as the six-shooter capital of the world. So, a lot of history there. Billy the Kid was in that region for some time. John Wesley Hardin. So there's a lot of history in El Paso, right? So some famous people that were actually born in El Paso, right, include Alan Tudyk, Firefly's Wash, right? It also includes Mr. Latino Heat himself, Eddie Guerrero and his family, right? Eddie Guerrero was from my high school. He was an alumnus of Jefferson High School. Mark D'Antonio, head coach of Michigan State, was actually born in El Paso. He grew up elsewhere, but he was born in El Paso. We have Sam Donaldson. I don't believe he's on the national news anymore, but he was the anchor for NBC Nightly, I believe. So he was out of Coronado High School. Very well-known person. He definitely throughout the 80s, 90s, and probably early 2000s. So Tito Larriva. Technically, so Tito Larriva is the front guy for Tito y Tarantula, right? He's technically from Juarez, but he went to high school with my mom, so I'm going to count him as being from El Paso. And then Nolan Richardson, who's a former Arkansas head coach, basketball head coach, and was a fellow UTEP Miner as well. So, and then two of the biggest people out of El Paso are Sandra Day O'Connor, the first female justice to the Supreme Court. So I think that's a huge, huge accomplishment there, right? And before you Trekkies out there, Gene Roddenberry. Gene Roddenberry was from El Paso, and a lot of people Obviously, Star Trek has a really huge following, and people love them for that. So, and Star Trek is better than Star Wars. I don't care. I don't care if you're mad at me. Fight me. So, what I want to go ahead and do though, let's go ahead and now talk a little bit about what makes up Henry. So, as a lot of people kind of get a weird misconception about me, sometimes they could see me as being arrogant. They could see me as being boisterous, egocentric. I'm actually not. If you notice, if I'm ever at a table, I'm usually the guy listening to you. I try not to pass judgment as much as I can. But if you ask for my advice, I'm going to give it to you, right? I don't actually like talking about myself, so this is a little weird. I don't like to really go too much into this, but for all the intelligence that I think I have, I actually think it's better to have the common sense knowing when to shut up sometimes, right? And sometimes it's just better to shut up and listen. So my sense of humor, I pride myself on it because it ranges from basically dad jokes to clever turns of phrase to being extremely dark and morbid and absurd. So I also play bass of a beautiful, unique 6-string bass that I'm pretty sure there's not another bass like it in the world. And I also do sing. I am a chronic masturbator. Just kidding. So I also do have a little bit of, I do have some anger issues, and I'm working on being able to deal with those a lot better now. But before we go any further, let's hear from our sponsor. With Black Friday staring at you from the abyss, here is a ray of sunshine. You'll love it. The only year-round Christmas subscription service. You'll get decorations, Yule logs, ugly sweaters, partridges in pear trees, and much, much more. Sorry, no deliveries in December. We guarantee you'll love it. So I did speak about the journey that brought me to doing this particular series, right? I've always been curious about a lot of the hot sauces out there, and I was watching Hot Ones, and they showed the Scoville level of a lot of the sauces, but again, they didn't really go into what's it good with, what does it even taste like, right? They just said show you a label, and then they just unleash the fury on people that they're interviewing, and I thought there was something missing there. So I don't know. The way I eventually got to this concept though, was one drunken night. I just happened to just say, you know what, I'm going to buy a bunch of hot sauces. I'm going to try them out. Put the photo up. I bought like about 10 of them I put them up on Facebook, and one of my friends commented and said, why don't you review them? And I paused for a second. I went, okay, maybe I could do that. I don't know. I haven't done anything creative in a while. And so, ultimately, it was a good thing for me because it started opening up the floodgates again for me. I was kind of down in the dumps at that point. This year has been a pretty rough year for me. I feel like I've grown. I've had a lot of people. It almost has felt like there's been rifts. I was laid off earlier this year. Went 4 months without a job. It's been a pretty difficult year, and I felt that I wasn't really creative anymore. I wasn't playing my bass. I wasn't writing lyrics. I wasn't writing anything. I just wasn't creating. I wasn't doing anything. And this finally gave me that outlet, and it's starting to open up the doors again, and the creativity starting to flow. And that's one of the things that I think has led me to doing this series. So for Thanksgiving, right, we're talking about being grateful. And so first of all, I'm grateful for the people that have just stood in my life and been there for me. I'm not always the person that's always there for everyone, but I try to be, right. But I'm grateful for those folks that have stood by my side no matter what. I'm grateful for just honestly being able to have this outlet. I know maybe only a handful of you might watch, but it doesn't matter. I do this for me, and if you happen to love it along the way, that's awesome, right? Also, I want to, I'm thankful for my mom. She was, just going through a lot right now, and I wouldn't be the person I am without her. So I want to thank her for that. And ultimately, when we're grateful for things, it actually puts it puts things in perspective, right? I think we as a society have a tendency to focus on what we don't have or what we'd like to have, and sometimes you just have to stop and take account of what you have in your life and be grateful for it. And you'll see that a lot of times it puts you in a better mood. There was an exercise I used to do where, and it's helped a few of my friends, where I've had them say, name 3 things you're grateful for. And, when you do that, it forces you to frame or reframe your thought process. And I just think it's really, I don't know, I think it's a really good exercise, and I wish more people would just take stock of what they have. And it's fine to have goals and everything, but don't neglect what you have already. So, all right. So I just want to also say that, I appreciate just everyone and everyone's support, and, my friends, my acquaintances, even friends that feel like I might have distanced myself from them. You still played a part in my life, and I'm here because of that. So next week, what we're gonna go ahead and do. Next week is we're gonna review a sauce. Now we're gonna get back to our regular scheduled program, and this is the one that probably a lot of you have been waiting for me to do. It's the Bomb Beyond Insanity. It's usually the 8th sauce on the hot ones, and that's usually where people hit the wall. It's basically made with pepper extract. We'll see how it goes, but I'm going to take this, live. I'm not going to open the bottle until we're actually filming. I might have my friend Megan join me for that one. She said she would do it, but we'll see. Let's see if she chickens out. So next week, though, it's gonna be a hell of a sauce, hell of a show. So we'll see how everything turns out. All right. So till then, guys, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your families. And remember, spice up your life. Take care.
Tears in my eyes while I write this song. Starting to cry, I can barely sing along. Cielo Vista Mall, just shopping at Zoomies. Can't imagine what it's like to hear the sound of screams and shootings. Waking up with a broken heart. The day after the devil showed up at Walmart, taking lives of innocent people. When in God's eyes we are created equal. Hating is hard, so very cruel, and breaking families apart while shopping back to school. In the Sun City, good people land, bright smiles. It was not one of our own. He had to travel for hundreds of miles. This kind of hate, it doesn't exist in our border town. We stick together, we are the safest. Time heals our wounds, it won't take that long. Oh no, 'cause we are resilient and faithful. El Paso strong. Try to tear us down, but we will recover as we stand together with our neighbors and love one another. The time is now to unite our culture, 'cause we are family. We're all sisters and brothers. We will rise and never fall. See through the lies, brick by brick, break down the wall. Now it's up to us to carry on with love in our hearts, 'cause we are El Paso strong. 'Cause we are resilient and faithful. El Paso strong. El Paso strong. El Paso strong. El Paso strong.